MasterPiece for commercial, contracts and new build. An introduction. The commercial version of MasterPiece is designed for flooring organisations who undertake contract or new build work. It differs from MasterPiece Retail in some significant ways. Firstly, MasterPiece Commercial is an office-based system where the surveyor is typically working from architect's plans. MasterPiece enables the surveyor to take off shape and dimensions by tracing round the CAD or PDF floor plan. Secondly, the costing engine is configured for commercial project costing, for instance, to work with cost prices and a markup of your choosing. All the net areas are to hand, both those calculated by the system and those from the quantity surveyor where applicable. The powerful features of MasterPiece Retail are still available in MasterPiece Commercial, for instance. The ability to hold multiple permutations of how materials are allocated to rooms. The ability to create stairways. A PDF floor plan does not lend itself to direct takeoff of stairs by trace around. An efficient cutting plan can be rapidly created even for a large job by the use of the auto planner. A measure or check measure can be done on site using the tablet PC when you need to. There is support for multi-market so that, for instance, both retail and commercial can be run on the same machine, each with its own products and costing rules. We will now have a look at some of Commercial MasterPiece's facilities. We will start by looking at the PDF CAD trace-around facilities. First, we select our plan. Click on Add PDF on the toolbar. The selection panel then shows all PDF plans that we have in the CAD import folder. We select the PDF plan we want. We are going to select 28F00002. On selection, a preview of it is shown on the right hand side of the screen, and the system's guide green colour system kicks in to guide us as to what to do next. It's guiding us to Add PDF, so click on Add PDF, and the PDF is then displayed on screen. At this point, the entire PDF is being displayed. Now, before we can start drawing, we need to set the scale for the building. Notice that the guide green is again guiding us to set the scale. So click on Set Scale. We see the following message advising us how to set the scale. Click on OK to do this. Notice that our cursor now turns to a black cross. This is to allow us to accurately scale the building. Click with the mouse in the top right hand corner of the building and notice that we then get a circle. Move to the opposite side of the building and click with the mouse again. We now have a red line which depicts this length on the building. Enter the length as 36 meters here and click on OK. The scale has now been set and the guide green has turned to a pastel green to show that it's been done. We now want to see just the part that we wish to trace around. So we will use the box function to zoom in on this part of the PDF. We will now select the rooms we want to draw by clicking on the New Room button here. Select the rooms by clicking on them and notice that they are now shown on the panel here. Once we've selected the rooms we want, click on OK and we see that they appear in the unfixed list here. The room we are currently looking at is shown in red here, and it's also shaded in the rooms list here. We can change which room we want to draw by clicking on it. We will draw the reception room first. We are now ready to start tracing around the reception room, so we will click on I will start tracing around now. Click on the corner where we want to begin tracing and trace around the perimeter of the room. Notice that as we click on the corners, the lines that have been traced turn red, so we can see which lines we have and haven't yet traced. When we reach the corner where we started, our cursor becomes a circle. Click on the circle and the room will close. The lines drawn now become pink and the measurements are shown based on the scale we entered earlier. Notice that for a wall without a door, we have traced to the interior face of the wall, and for a wall with a doorway, we trace to the centre of the wall. We will now draw the two offices in the same way, thus. By tracing around the floor plan image, there is a considerable time saving compared to doing a takeoff on paper. MasterPiece also has an ability to work with a digitizer should you have printed paper plans available but no electronic file. We can choose whether to show the PDF plan on screen or not by clicking on Hide PDF on the toolbar. This hides the PDF and shows only the spaces that we have drawn, so we can see what is left to do. To show the PDF again, click on Show PDF. On stairways, we will probably find that we can't take dimensions directly off the PDF. MasterPiece's retail facilities come into play here. So we select to draw without a PDF image, and then select a bullnose, flight of stairs, and a winder set. We dimension and link these up as we would in a retail context. If we wish, we can say the bullnose links up to the flight of stairs, and as you will see, the winders get handled as a set. We just either need to use the default measurements already entered, or modify these to be correct for this particular job. For this example, we will go with the defaults, which you can see here. The winder set goes up to the landing, so we will make the link to the landing like so. We may choose to draw and dimension the landing freehand, rather than using the PDF, so that we can readily include the additional carpet which goes over the nose of the riser. All our rooms are now drawn, but they have been drawn with net measurements, so we now need to add their allowance. We do this by fixing the rooms to be ready for planning. The system adds the allowance we want, say 10 cm allowance for carpet, which is depicted in the light blue outline. If we now look at our floor plan, we can see our rooms and we can move them around the plan in a group like so. At this point, we could introduce another PDF to say the upstairs if we needed to, like so. However, for this introduction, we will now go to the planning view and create the cutting plan for our rooms by dragging and dropping them onto the roll thus, and putting seams into rooms where necessary. We can alternatively use the auto planner. When we are happy with our plan, we fit rolls to determine the length we need. If the planned length is very long, we can choose to split it like so, and follow through the guided save sequence, which makes the plan well presented for the fitter. We have so far planned all of our rooms in carpet, but commercial jobs, especially new build, often have a large number of permutations to be addressed. For instance, the rooms to be included in the estimate may vary in which type of material is to be used in the room and what colour each room requires. MasterPiece is unique in its ability to handle these multiple allocations, all within the same job. To create a different allocation, select the Room Allocations button on the toolbar, and then select to Manage Material Allocations. The planning view is the best place to do this. We can see our rooms in carpet here, all belonging to allocation 1. We can create another allocation by clicking on Create Another Allocation, and this creates allocation 2 of 2. We can now add material types by clicking on the relevant material button, thus, and move our reception and offices into this new material type. We don't lose our original allocation 1 or its plans when we do this. We can also exclude rooms from this particular allocation, and hence the quote associated with this allocation, by moving them into the excluded column, thus. So we can now produce 2 quotations for the customer, one with all rooms in carpet, and the other with just the reception and the offices in wood. Once the cutting plans have been created in MasterPiece, the net room areas and plan material lengths and areas are automatically available to the costing engine. The costing engine is flexible and adept at costing commercial jobs. It can either cost by holding cost prices and adding markup, or it can alternatively work more like retail, where selling prices are used, applying discounts where appropriate. We will select to go to Accessories and Costing here. We select which allocation we want to cost. In this case, we will select allocation 1, which has all our rooms in carpet. So we click on the greened allocation 1 here. We arrive at the costing view at the Materials tab, where we can enter the particular material we want to apply to each area. MasterPiece's Materials product library can hold both whole roll and cut prices. Here we will select the cut price for this carpet. Your own organisation's costing rules can be configured in. We will cost our estimate like so, add any accessories required such as screeding and underlay, and look at our cost breakdown. We can see here a breakdown of our material in the darker blue, our accessories in a lighter blue, and the fitting charges have automatically been calculated based on material area. All labour charges are shown in the lightest blue. The area-based installation charge gives a good guide to the installation cost, but we can alternatively save a number of man days for the fitting. To do this, we will click on the Fitting Services here and select to have the required man hours at the appropriate rate. We see that the cost comes to a similar figure as the area-based charge, and we now select to remove the area-based charge, and thus cost using the man hours charge. You can also change the markup of an individual item here, and see that the item change becomes pink, so that you know which ones have been amended. You can also change the markup as a group here, for example if you just want to amend labour charges. We will now select to save the estimate here, and we can give it a name if we know there are going to be many saved quotations for the various permutations that the customer has asked to be quoted. We can preview here a full breakdown of the job, including prices and markups for each line item. The quotation for the customer can be configured to suit your own business and can include your business logo if you wish. Quotations can either be printed or emailed to the customer. We can create multiple quotations. For instance, if we select to cost up allocation 2, we can see that this second quotation is held alongside the first. For larger contracts, the prime contractor may mandate that the quote is formulated against the net areas, which the quantity surveyor has assessed. MasterPiece can provide a full presentation, as here, of all the net areas, as calculated from the geometry we entered by trace-around. It also allows for quantity surveyors' net areas to be held, to support the formulation of rates for the job against a quantity surveyor's net areas. You can also enter a room area as defined by the quantity surveyor in the request for tender documents, as this may have to be used to generate the rates required in the tender. There are further capabilities of MasterPiece which may be highly valued for commercial projects. The ability to put the job on a tablet PC for a check measure or full measure on site may be of value. Also, when conducting a survey on site, MasterPiece can provide check-off lists so that no item which might affect the price of the work is omitted. Overall, MasterPiece can make the process of bidding for commercial work hugely more productive, with fewer opportunities for mistakes. Modifications and rebids are much easier because all the data is accessible on machine. There is no paperwork in drawers or lying on shelves. When the job is won, all the data for the installers has already been automatically formulated and is immediately available, saving further time. This includes both the plans we have seen and also the installation instructions sheet. For those organisations with both a retail and commercial arm, there is a benefit of having familiarity with one common system for both arms of the business.